Hey guys, took a couple days off. We had a little bit of fun. We did some riding. You can go check out the channel, look at some videos. We rode a little bit around in the snow, but it is now time to get back to work on my wife's project bike. I'm just going to try and crank this thing out so we can get it back in the chassis and running. So follow along. If you have any questions, drop it down in the comments. I'll see if I can answer it and get you guys helped out. All right, here we go. We're going to start with the backside of the counterbalance that also holds the pickup for the stator. It has an O-ring around the outer edge that seals it and holds some pressure on the case. So I'm going to get some fresh case oil here and just put a little bit around the edge of the O-ring. You can see the O-ring right there. Oh, and hey guys, we did find a spare one of these on another set of cases I had. The one that I pulled off, one of the ears was broken off. So found another one, didn't have to order one, which is cool. I will get one ordered up just because I'd like to have that extra set of cases as together as I can for when stuff like this comes up. So we'll see if we can find another one, get ordered up. But this will work for now. We're just gonna put a little oil on it so that we don't tear the O-ring. These two bolt holes are going to go closest to your crankshaft because that is what is going to hold the pickup. Try and line those bolt holes up a little bit, and we'll grab our rubber mount. Not a whole lot of pressure here, guys. It goes in pretty easy. And I think that we will drop a couple of bolts in just to make sure our holes are lined up before we get it fully seated. We're not even going to thread them in. Just want to make sure that we're not totally missing the holes. These two are pretty long. They're going to go all the way through the other side of the case. That is all it takes. It is bottomed out. In fact, I think I might have these backwards. Yep. We're just going to put these in hand tight for now. Cool. And we need to get the keyway out of our old crank so that we can put it into our new crank, and then we can put our stator and our flywheel on. Sorry about that, guys. I don't have a vise in the garage. I had to go out to the shop, and I don't really have anywhere to mount the camera up where I can swing a hammer. This little guy is the keyway. It's kind of half moon on one side, and that half moon part is what's going to go down into the crank, and the smooth side should be pointed up. There's a notch in your flywheel. You will see that rides inside of. So this is a Vertex seal kit. It's what came with the Wrench Rabbit kit. Okay. I like to put just a little bit of oil on the shaft itself so that we don't have to worry about a burr catching the inner lip of the seal and ruining the seal. This is what keeps you from sucking air atmospheric air into the bottom of the crankcase, which will make the bike run lean, could cause it to seize up. So you want to be careful and cautious with these seals. We'll get started by hand and make sure it's straight. Then I actually have a really nice flat punch that we can drive it the rest of the way in. And we're just trying to get the upper lip to set flush with the case. So this pin has a really nice flat head on it, so we don't have to worry about damaging the seal. And we'll just slowly work it around nice and even. Cool, I think it's in. Now, we can put our stator on. Okay. Okay guys, had a little hiccup there. Couldn't get the stator to set down flush, and I actually just needed to get the seal into the case a little bit deeper. I will show you. By the way, this stator's super dirty. The back side, there's these nubs that actually go down and ride on the seal. So if you don't have your seal in far enough, you're not going to get your stator on all the way. So. There are 3 bolts that hold the stator on. Like I said, we're just going to dab a little bit of blue Loctite on it. I'm wondering if maybe I got these backwards. And this, yeah, this bolt goes up here. Sorry for the volume, guys. I ordered a new microphone, so if I'm really quiet, just bear with me. It's on the way, but I didn't want to wait any longer to get this thing going. It's actually warmed up a little bit. We got into the 30s. It's been -30. So trying to take advantage of the warmer temps in the shop. Get this thing going. Cool. I'm going to wait to put the pickup on until I get the flywheel on, and I'm going to wait to tighten these up as well. I think everything's going to be fine there. I just want to make sure before we start cranking everything down. So we can drop a couple more seals in. We can do our shaft seal and our main shaft seal where your sprocket actually mounts up. This case has a little bit of damage right here. Looks like somebody ran the sprocket backwards and let the chain right into the case, so this seal is a little bit hard to get started really evenly. I don't know if you guys can see that now. See how it's kind of damaged around the edge? So it's a little bit hard to get it started evenly. Same thing, guys, just keep working around the edge, even pressure all the way around. And then there's a bushing that goes around your sprocket shaft. So we dipped a little bit of oil around that, and it just slides right in. Cool. We also got a new seal for the clutch actuator, and I did not replace that last time on my engine. Totally forgot about it, and it is the only leaky point on it, and it drives me nuts. That one is just gonna literally push in there. Cool. I'm gonna round up some more parts. We'll get this thing flipped around and we'll start putting together the clutch side. Okay guys, first thing we're gonna do on this side is the crank seal for this side. This one actually has a metal bushing that's gonna ride between the seal and the shaft. So we'll go ahead and just put the seal in, and then we'll lube up that bushing and put the bushing in. Okay. We got a little bit of dirt or dust in the bottom here, so I'm going to run this back out to the shop and blow all this out really quick so we can make sure that we're not leaving it together with dirt. So sorry, I'll be right back. Okay guys, way cleaner now. Let's go ahead and throw our Kickstarter back on, and then we can do our shift mechanism. So you'll see there's a spot in the case, sorry my lighting's horrible, that your spring sets on, and there might even be a little bit of a rub mark through the paint from that spring riding back and forth. get that started. And then you can get kick-started just a little bit and rotate it down. And then this capture plate should be able to go right on. There's 2 bolts that hold that in. Okay. Now that we got that started, throw the wrench on it. Next up, we'll do the shifter mechanism. So we're going to put this little guy back on. Remember, there's a dimple on your shift drum that's down inside your transmission, and there's a divot on the back side of this that fits right on it. So make sure you get those 2 lined up. This one is a 12 millimeter. Okay, so this actually rides on that drum that we just put in there. This little wheel rides on the outside of each one of these divots. So you got to get your spring lined up. So that this fits on here correctly. Sorry guys, I can't remember if it's easier to get the bolt started and then get the spring over, or put the spring over and then get the bolt started. So we're going to try by threading our bolt into the case, a small amount, and see if we can get the spring started. At least that's the plan. I don't know if we'll be able to get, oh, there we go. Okay. I'm going to grab the phone off the stand so you guys can get in here a little bit closer. So sorry, it's going to be a little wobbly. Okay, so this is the bolt that we're working on, and this is the end of the spring. And this spring needs to come all the way down underneath this boss on the case so that it has tension on that. So now you guys know why I'm fiddle-fudding stuff in here, because it's kind of a tight area. But I'm going to throw you back up on the stand so I can use both hands. Alright, I think we just got the spring over. Let's see a 10mm head on the bolt. Let's see if we can get the bolt in now. And bolt is still running really nice and easy, so no worries there. And our roller is on the shift drum. So I'm happy with that. Okay guys, this is our next step. Check this out in one whole unit. And that's how we're going to try and put it back in. As long as we can keep everything lined up. So you'll see there's a raised dimple. We want that pointed out. And then you might have to press in on those two spring-loaded ears a little bit to get it to fit down into the case. Three bolts hold this plate on. Okay, we can actually slide our shifter in now, shift shaft. And make sure that everything lines up on that, which it does. Awesome. Okay, I think next step is we will put the counterbalance back in this side and the retaining plate for it. Okay guys, so let me scoot you back a little bit. If you remember right, the counterbalance only goes in one way. So you want your weights pointed forward. And it should seat into that bearing on the other side that your stator pickup bolts to. And then you will have a little retainer plate that goes in behind the gear on the counterbalance. And two bolts that hold it in. Next up, we'll do our crank gear. I'm gonna have to go get my flashlight because I cannot see a timing mark on this crankshaft. So give me a sec, I'm gonna go grab a flashlight. Okay guys, I grabbed my flashlight and I'm super bummed. I am not seeing a timing mark on the crankshaft, which I do not like. I know just based off of the old crankshaft, the timing mark should be lined up with the center pin for the connecting rod. Just bums me out. And there's a scratch mark on it, and I don't know if that's from the factory where they attempted to put a dimple in it and maybe it just didn't seat, but I'll show you here on the old one. You see that really pronounced dimple in it? That is what you line everything up with, and I'm not seeing one on this at all. So this is the crankshaft gear, and it also has a dimple on it. Which lines up fairly close with where that scratch mark is. And that's pretty much the center pin. Not a huge fan of that, guys. I'm really bummed there's not a pronounced mark on there. But I think if we go one tooth in either direction, it's going to be like really far off. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's line up the marks on the counterbalance. I might have to grab the flashlight again. I thought I just had it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that is with the counterbalance lined up and the timing mark on the crankshaft gear lined up with the center pin on the crank, and the crankshaft gear is displaying out. Obviously important. That gear has no timing marks on it. It does not matter where it is in relation to anything else. That's what's going to line up with your clutch basket. And I'm just going to grab my impact so that we're not just turning the whole motor over. And we'll get this tightened up with the penny trick, and then we can start putting our clutch basket back on. Yeah, and we'll be finishing this side up.